National Electrical Code, or NEC, Section 600.31b addresses wiring methods. Flexible cords and cables are prohibited as a wiring method for recessed luminaires or pendant fixtures. Flexible raceways are not permitted where exposed or subject to physical damage. Section 600.31e pertains to exterior locations. Weatherproof luminaires and associated wiring must be installed in accordance with Sections 300.7 and 410.47. Section 300.7 deals with wiring in wet locations, requiring weatherproof luminaires and equipment or protection with suitable enclosures. It's important to consult your local building department for any additional requirements or restrictions specific to your area. Using a conduit or raceway is highly recommended for added protection against physical damage and moisture. Select a wire type that is rated for outdoor use, such as UFB or THHN. Ensure that the soffit material is compatible with the wire and conduit you choose. Make sure the wiring is accessible for future maintenance or repairs. For a simplified approach to a 35-foot run to a sensor light, consider these guidelines. For wiring, use UFB cable or THHN wire within a conduit. A 1/2-inch PVC conduit is generally suitable for this application. Opt for a weatherproof sensor light specifically rated for outdoor use. Securely connect the wires to the luminaire and conduit using appropriate connectors. Seal any penetrations or openings with weatherproof caulk to prevent moisture ingress. Remember to always de-energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Properly grounding the sensor light is crucial for safety. Consult the manufacturer's instructions for the sensor light regarding grounding requirements. Typically, this involves connecting a grounding wire from the sensor light to the grounding system of the electrical circuit. Inspect the wiring and connections regularly to ensure they are in good condition and free from damage. Replace any damaged wiring or components immediately. Ensure that the sensor light is properly mounted and secured to the soffit to prevent it from falling or becoming dislodged. Use appropriate mounting hardware and techniques for the specific type of soffit material. When running the conduit, avoid sharp bends or kinks that could damage the wires or restrict airflow. Use conduit fittings to create smooth, gradual bends. Consider the ambient temperature when selecting wiring and conduit. Extreme temperatures can affect the performance and lifespan of electrical components. Use materials that are rated for the expected temperature range. Protect the wiring from physical damage by routing it away from areas where it could be struck by objects or exposed to abrasion. Use conduit straps or clamps to secure the conduit to the soffit at regular intervals. This will prevent the conduit from sagging or becoming dislodged. Clearly label the circuit breaker that controls the sensor light to facilitate easy identification and maintenance. Use a permanent marker or label maker to create a durable label. If you are using THHN wire in a conduit, ensure that the conduit is properly sealed to prevent moisture from entering. Use conduit sealant or weatherproof fittings to seal any openings or connections. When making connections, use wire connectors that are specifically designed for outdoor use. These connectors are typically sealed to prevent moisture from entering. Avoid overloading the circuit that the sensor light is connected to. Check the amperage rating of the circuit breaker and the total amperage draw of all the devices connected to the circuit. If the total amperage draw exceeds the circuit breaker rating, you will need to install a separate circuit for the sensor light. Consider using a ground fault circuit interrupter or GFCI protected circuit for the sensor light. A GFCI will trip the circuit breaker if it detects a ground fault, which can help to prevent electrical shocks. Regularly test the GFCI to ensure that it is working properly. If you are installing multiple sensor lights, consider using a low voltage lighting system. Low voltage lighting systems are typically safer and more energy efficient than standard voltage lighting systems. When installing low voltage wiring, follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Use wire connectors and transformers that are specifically designed for low voltage applications. Keep the wiring as short as possible to minimize voltage drop. If you are burying any wiring, ensure that it is buried at the proper depth and protected by a conduit or other suitable enclosure. Consult the NEC and local building codes for specific requirements. When working with electrical wiring, always be aware of the potential hazards and take precautions to prevent accidents. Never work on live circuits. Always energize the circuit before working on any electrical component. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. When selecting a sensor light, consider the lighting requirements of the area. Choose a sensor light that provides adequate illumination for the intended purpose. Consider the sensitivity and range of the sensor. Adjust the sensor settings to prevent false triggers. Consider the design and aesthetics of the sensor light. Choose a sensor light that complements the style of the building. Consider the energy efficiency of the sensor light. Choose a sensor light that uses energy-efficient lamps or LED. Regularly clean the lens of the sensor light to ensure optimal performance. Remove any dirt, dust, or debris that may be blocking the sensor. Inspect the sensor light for any signs of damage or wear. Replace any damaged components immediately. If you are installing the sensor light in a coastal area, consider using a sensor light that is specifically designed for marine environments. These sensor lights are typically made of corrosion-resistant materials. When running wiring through walls or ceilings, use appropriate fire-stopping materials to prevent the spread of fire. Consult the NEC and local building codes for specific requirements. If you are installing the sensor light near a swimming pool or spa, follow all applicable safety regulations. Use a GFCI-protected circuit and ensure that the sensor light is properly grounded. When working with ladders, follow all safety precautions. Use a ladder that is in good condition and properly positioned. Never stand on the top rung of the ladder. If you are working in a confined space, ensure that there is adequate ventilation. Avoid working in areas where there are flammable materials or gases present. If you are using power tools, follow all safety instructions. Wear safety glasses and hearing protection. Use tools that are in good condition and properly maintained. When disposing of electrical wastes, follow all applicable environmental regulations. Recycle any materials that can be recycled. Dispose of hazardous waste properly. Always consult the NEC and local building codes for specific requirements related to electrical installations. These codes are designed to protect the safety of people and property. Stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and local building codes. Attend training courses or workshops to learn about new technologies and best practices. Share your knowledge with others to promote electrical safety. Be a responsible and ethical electrician. Always put safety first. Provide high-quality workmanship. Charge fair prices. Treat your customers with respect. Contribute to the electrical industry. Support organizations that promote electrical safety and education. Advocate for policies that protect the public. Strive for excellence in all that you do. Be a role model for other electricians. Make a positive impact on the world. Consider the impact of your work on the environment. Use sustainable practices whenever possible. Conserve energy and resources. Reduce waste. Protect the environment for future generations. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous. Always take precautions to prevent accidents. Never work on live circuits. Always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use appropriate personal protective equipment. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your sensor light is installed safely and correctly. Remember to always consult the NEC and local building codes for specific requirements related to your installation.